Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to a video for Kingdom Rush Rift in Time. So today we're going to go over the big giant chest storage box, which we just got. Sorry for the shaky cam. I got to carry my camera on to show this off because it's so big. What I'm going to do is I haven't filled it yet. I have opened it up. But I'll fill it off screen and I'll come back and show it. But guys, a table of contents showing how everything fits in there. We have all the different trays for the characters, each with their extra little, new reference cards that fit in there. We have, containers for holding all the different stuff. So this is supposed to hold everything from the first game, plus all the expansions. So we'll see how well it works. Hopefully for the amount of money I paid for it, and the time I had to wait, it does. Otherwise, previously, I was using one full big box to hold everything. Plus, then I have one of the small boxes, which I have, all the big bosses in. Let's see if I can get that open quick. Yeah, so I have all the big monsters, big boss monsters in one of the small expansion boxes. Then in the Spider Goddess expansion pack is where I'm storing a bunch of other stuff. So I have one character packing. I have all my character packs in here underneath the boards. So there's some of the big boards in there. All the I keep getting stuff on the way. All the characters are in there. So it's one different way for me to try and store all this, and then in the big box is where all the rest of the stuff is. So right, I have all my towers and my tokens, which are all, you can see they're all scattered around in there already. My 3D tower set I have in here, so I don't know if that'll particularly fit in there, because that was a separate add-on than the base game. But then you have all your other stuff, but again, I have just a baggie of tokens and things. So we'll see how all of that fits into this new box. I'm gonna pull all those back out of there. And then we also, like I said, we have, as just a quick comparison between the two, so we have the new giant reference cards versus the old ones. The trays are actually a lot nicer. Here, I can just set my camera down for this one. So, one of the old trays, that just slid right off. There's nothing holding that on there. I just got one of the little player cards as a reference. There's all my spots that it holds. Otherwise, if you wanted that, you could flip it all the way open to see who the character was. There's one big tray and then one small tray. So that's the old style. The new style, it's clipped in there, so it's not just going to pop off, so I actually have to grip it and kind of pop it off a bit, so it holds on a lot nicer. It's got a big giant reference card with all my information on the back. And I got one in French too, just in case. I got some different languages in case I need them. But then here's your new tray. She still have a nice little tray there, but it has a little lip on it for pulling your tokens out easier. This thing's all square. You can kind of slide them out. And then it has a little, let's say little bracers there. I'll have to see exactly how they all fit in there. Basically, you can set these in there, and it makes it easier to pull everything out, is the idea, because they're kind of staggered. And there's a little grips on the side. So all I did was try to make this a lot easier for everyone to pull everything out. So yeah, we'll pause the video, we'll fill up the big box, and we'll see how it looks after then. See you guys in a few minutes. Alright, so I've got the entire box full. So we're going to take a look and see what's kind of in there. This is definitely a nice looking box, by the way. So it's just a giant treasure chest. It definitely does that. There's some villains on that side. The logos. The main five heroes from the base set on the front. And then if we look at the sides here, just to kind of show off some of this. So we have Spider Guy expansion, some of the villains and heroes, some of the different characters that go together in the expansions. It's kind of neat that they just added all them together, kept them together. So, overall, this is definitely a great box. I do have a few very minor complaints, but they're more or less nitpicky than anything. So, like right now, I have all the instruction books just scattered on the top. It would be awesome if they re-released maybe like one campaign guide just to have everything together. I get why they're not going to do that, because the idea of this box set is if you only own the base set, it'll hold your base set stuff. And then as you buy the expansions, you can add them in their special spots for everything. So if you release one special book for everything, we'll only be going to certain people that bought everything. But other than that, like here's so you call it a little guide explaining where stuff should go. Just in case you forget. So I'm probably gonna hang on to this, just especially for like the minis. If I got, of course, you got your instruction books for all the different ones. You got your map. You got your small scenario ones plus your stickers for the map. So let's have all them kind of sitting on top. Then how they have it laid out is you have your boards on the top. And they fit nicely into this tray, so they're not going to slide around, which is great, a great thing. So then here is our towers. This is much better than the original design. Because the original design they're basically just flat. I'll actually have it sitting right here. So we can kind of do a quick comparison. So yeah, these are all just flat with a little divots. The idea is they're supposed to kind of sit like that, which would be the same idea. But then the trays underneath were meant for all your ammo tokens or your different things. So as soon as you start filling them up, they started lifting flat. And that's when they would slide around. It didn't take much. But now these new ones are angled. So they're always going to stay angled. Plus the other problem was when you had all your towers sitting here. Oh, I need the double arrow. Ah, crap. Which one was it on? You had to sit here and keep moving everything. Having them in a second tray is going to make this game so much quicker. Oh, I need a level tower. Grab one, quick. Oh, I need to slide it back in there. You just slide it back in. You don't have to dig underneath. Then on the top here, they made little spots for all the spell cards, which are really nice. The very minor nitpick is they're supposed to have a promo one, which they never released, but they had pictured on their website. So if they ever did actually release that, there's no general room for it in here. But maybe that's just their plans. They decided not to. Then I have the upgraded crystals and the upgraded and replacement hearts. So the original box came with gray hearts. The King Pledge came with gray hearts. Then now they've upgraded them to red. The original base game, if you don't have any of the upgraded, it's just going to have the little hearts and diamonds like this, and they'll still fit in there just fine. And then below that, we pull all these out. These are all our clear base tiles for where your towers can be put, plus your identifiers and your starting markers. And all that stuff kind of just slides in there. I just threw the other clear ones from the Spider Goddess campaign in there. You can always put them with the other tiles as well. But it makes starting the game really easy. You pop this box out, you have your towers, you have your abilities, you have your towers, all separated out. Nice and easy. Then we'll just swap our lid back on there. And these are game trays, lids, or containers, so they stick really nice. Now that I have that in there, if I actually make sure I have it snapped down, it's going to stay very well. I can flip this upside down, nothing's going to fall out. Now, all my cards shifted. Some of my tokens probably shifted. So they're just saying they're going to stay in there, but don't flip your box upside down, or apparently everything's still going to slide. So I'll have to fix that. But that's actually a good thing to know. So again, they're not going to hold them in there tight, but that's not really their purpose. But it also means that if you try and store this box maybe on its side, or if you have it in travel and you're flipping it around, it's probably going to shift the contents around. Then the next tray we have are all our tokens. So yeah, we were talking about just before how it kind of sucked having them under everything here. Now you can just have this token tray right out. have it separated by all your different types, which makes it really easy and clear to see what's what. For the most part, you can just toss all these in here. You don't have to really line them up too well. It does help to have like your two pieces like sideways, just because you just toss them and they might get too full. The Z shapes you kind of have to almost have in this spot, and then the three I had to turn this way. But otherwise, you can kind of just put them in there. You don't have to. The other set you had to, like in this tray here, you had to sit here and play like Tetris for some of these. And you'd be like, okay, so these all have to be this direction. These all have to be this direction. This makes it a lot easier. You have a spot here for all your little meeples. So again, if you bought the regular game, you just have these little wooden meeples. If you bought the upgraded King Plug, you'll have the 3D ones. So either way, all your soldiers can fit in there nicely. Your spawn tokens. Now, the box does show that your 4 bomb blasts should go in there as well. They weren't really fitting in there very nicely, so I just throw them in with the single ones. What is also kind of neat about these is, so on the bottom here, they actually show what symbols go in there. So like your magic bolts, or if I scoot these out of the way, they're going to show my arrows. Not that it really makes that big of a difference, but it's just, again, a helpful thing for filling stuff when they put little symbols in it, so like your little soldiers. And then this tray is your stuff for the Spider Goddess expansion. You just get the little overlay tiles, so they're not full tiles, but they just let you throw them all in there. Just be careful when you're throwing them in here, they don't stick up because they are fragile. Alright, now snap shut as well. And that fit in really nicely in here to make like a flat layer. That works really well there also. And then, of course, we have all our tiles. We have our actual tiles here, just in one stack. Since I have that finger hold, it's really easy to pull them out. Or there's a gap right here for all of them. Sorry with the terrible camera work. Then we have our long maps here, so pull them out. We have our even longer ones over here. And pull them out. Then we have a stack over here of couple of our small squares. This is where I'll put all the reference cards for all the different bad guys, just so if you're looking for them. Or I have references for the characters that have their own special scenarios, like Lilith and the expansion pack characters. And they sit in there really nice, and it kind of like guides into this spot here, so they're not going to be they shouldn't be sliding around too much. Then what's also really fun about how they design this box, so they have 3 separate spots here. The idea is supposed to be, as you can have like your main tiles here, you can have like your boss and extra tiles there, and then this can be like just your Spider Goddess expansion. So you can kind of sort them out, so if you want to play a particular expansion, you can just, oh, this is my regular tiles, these are my expansion tiles, this is the boss goddess, and you don't have to sit there and dig through all of them. I probably have mine all mixed up right now because of how they were in my previous box. But they did design this in a way that you can kind of access your characters and stuff sort of easy. So here's where all our miniatures go. So you're going to have our 4 base miniatures, and then the 2 time mages. But then down here we have kind of like set up with the characters that go together. A little bit. So you can kind of get your bosses out very easily. They should have really had JT and Vesnium switched around, because JT goes with why can't I remember names here? The big Yeti guy. My brain's just not working. JT is this big guy. This is Gerald Lightseeker. They should have went together, because then Vesnium went with Moloch here. But still, they're accessible by themselves. There's Blackburn. And then we have the 2 Spider Goddess sets here, which has Spider Goddess and Muck. But then down below there is where we have our 2 heroes for that set. So it is a little weird that they have the heroes kind of separated out. But it also sort of makes sense if you only bought the base game. Here's your base game characters, here's that. You bought the 2 small expansions, here's your 2 small expansions. And then if you bought the Spider Goddess, here's all your Spider Goddess stuff. So they kind of kept it sort of separate. Also then, below JT and Mullock are their ice tokens and fire tokens. So if you're playing with either of them and you need your special tokens, they're right there for you. I'm going to set some of this stuff back in here. And then finally we have our 9 hero trays. So they're all just set up right there. So if we need to pull one out. Oh, there we got Gerald. And we can go through his stuff. And I did kind of show off how everything went in there earlier. And they're really nice. So just pop open. You do it with one hand here. That's so easy. Reference card, which is going to have information on all the different abilities. You have your board here. And then you have your 4 abilities, which are all kind of tiered, so you can grab them a little bit easier. Your active card and your tokens. So a few of the players do have a couple extra tokens, so they just kind of sit right towards the top. But it hasn't been any general issue. They still close fairly well. This also makes it easy, so if you pull all these out, you can look at who's who really quickly with these new reference cards, which is how they were originally designed. But then when they did the tri-full boards instead of half-full boards, they didn't redo the pictures on them. And then he'll slide kind of right back in here. So that's only one of my other minor nitpicks, is that I love the cases, but because they have nothing on the side to let you know what it is, you have to kind of pick through each one to figure out. Again, very minor. I mean, if you had them just sitting in a box stacked on top of each other anyhow, you'd have to do the same thing anyhow, so it's not like it's a make or break thing. So we can kind of set everything back in here quick. Also makes putting everything away nice and easy, because everything has its own little spot. Now, when the next set comes out, the Elemental Uprising, there's an option to get a full box like this for that as well. Because they are even though they're part of the same game world, they're 2 separate games. So that'll be that. Alright, so yeah, so everything kind of fits in. I have to spread it. Again, I have to fix my towers a bit. But yeah, it holds all the regular stuff, holds the upgrade stuff. Normally I had 3 full boxes for it. So I had a big base game box, Spider Goss, and I had 1 small box for the big minis. Now I just have this one big ass box. So, I'm not going to push on it. So it didn't necessarily save me any room. Yes and no. Because now I don't have to grab 3 different boxes to have all the components. I can just grab one big box. Is it taking up any more or less room? Not necessarily. Because although it is shorter in height than even the base game. Let's see if I can knock that down here. So it is shorter in height than the base game by a decent amount. It is also going to be just as a little bit narrower. So it's even like, it's taking up essentially the same room as 2 of these and 2 of these boxes. But it's also shorter. So it does save some room that way to an extent. And my other extent is because part of the thing I had with one of the other boxes was the 3D towers that I bought. So these will not fit in the box. But since these are 100% optional, you have all the components to do regular towers. If you bought the 3D ones, you'd probably just have to keep it in a regular box. This doesn't want to open for me. So yeah, I have all my 3D towers in there. So it's 2 small trays. But there's obviously no way to fit them in this big box. I don't expect them to make room for it because, again, it's an optional buy. You didn't have to buy it. And the game will play just fine. The other stuff, again, clearly expansions are optional too, but this is more of a luxury versus extra content. So I get why that has to stay in a separate box. Alright, my only other kind of complaint now, well, I have kind of 2 of them, I guess, sort of the same thing though, is now I have all these extra trays to use. And so either I can toss them all or I can try and figure out how to repurpose them. One of the problems is because lids can come off so easy, which is one of the issues, is using them for a different game even could potentially end up causing issues. But again, it might be better than having nothing. So either I have to find a different game I can reuse all these with. They can have, a tray, something of that size and something of that size. I don't top of my head, I can't think of what I can use these for to separate by dividers. I initially thought maybe something like Disney Villainous, like if cards would fit in there, I can maybe put like a villain, like a character in here. But then the problem is their player piece wouldn't fit in there, and plus there's only 9 of these, and I have well more than 9 characters, so it's kind of like, what's the point of doing partial? The same thing with this, is I can maybe use this for other trays for something, but I gotta figure out. So I have all this extra, now that I bought this upgrade box, I have all this extra plastic I have to figure out what to do with. The boxes, here or there, because some people are going to keep them because they like them. Other people condense them, throw all the boxes away. Great. You can use them to store other stuff. That's up to you. But yeah, whether you want to throw it away. Then I also got 2 other language cards for each of these. Again, I get why they did it. For the purpose of just easier for them to print off all 3 and send all 3 of them. But I don't need these, so these are all basically wasted for me. It doesn't even make sense to try and sell them or give them to somebody else, because if they bought it, they already own these. Unless they only own the original game and they didn't buy any of the upgraded, I could probably give them away so they could use them in their boxes. But again, it's only going to help people of a foreign language and not English. So kind of minor nitpicks there. So the other 2 things I want to show off in this video quick. As we did get the upgraded or reprinted cards. It's just a couple of cards that had fixes on them. I'm going to set my camera down for just a second. Alright, so we got 4 reprinted cards. One was for this enemy card. Top of my head, I don't know what was wrong with these. I'm sure it's probably like this symbol or that symbol or something. So one of the symbols was probably wrong. Same thing, we have these 2. The Weird Wood and the... I'm trying to get my glare out of here. Sorry. I got 3 of them. Forest Keepers. Yeah, my lighting here is terrible, so I apologize. I have Forest Keepers, High Elven Mage, and Weird Wood, which are 4 add-ons from one of these, I think the Spider Goddess expansion. Yeah, so just probably adjusted some of those symbols or fixed an arrow color or whatever. But we got those. And then we also got one for Time Mage. A new reference card, which I'm assuming just fixes, again, some mistake on there. So there's some different stuff there if you needed those. The other thing I did want to show off here quick is I do also have, and this is another optional buy you could get. So if you didn't want to buy this big giant box, but you like the trays, they did make the King Pledge upgrade pack. So if you upgraded to all the plastic components, to all the trays and stuff in the original one, this is basically a box of all the trays I just showed off. So I'm going to get all of these empty trays that I can use for, expansion characters or other games. I get a pack of all the character cards. So unlike the big chest where they came packaged with each box, this just gave me a bundle of all of them. Get some empty boxes. But I'm going to get all my different trays here. But I only get enough for the base game. So that's kind of the thing. So this is nice if you own just the base game and you wanted some upgraded components, because you're going to get 5 trays, 1 for each character. You're going to get your tower tray, and then you're going to get your tray for all your spells. So if you bought the expansions, hoping what they're planning on doing is any future releases on the expansions will come with these new upgraded trays. I'm guessing is the idea. If not, you're kind of out of luck. So if you had everything, you may as well have bought the big treasure chest. If you only have the starter set you're going to buy the expansions later on down the line or not buy them at all, you can probably just pick up this, and then you could have all your different components. I know I just complained about having all this extra plastic, but this was a Kickstarter backer misunderstanding. I pledged for shipping, couldn't pay for shipping, or couldn't apply that money towards the shipping, as I was led to believe. So I had to spend that money somewhere or lose it, because they wouldn't let me apply my extra pledge amount to my shipping. So I put it towards buying one of these, and I bought one of the other, a double of an expansion. Because I thought, hey, I have these trays, I can maybe utilize them. These ones might actually be a little bit harder to utilize than the old ones, just because they have like that tiered structure there. But if they release more expansions, I have trays ready. So that's what we have for this. I just wanted to show off everything. So if you're curious what this was or how it works, if it's worth the money, I would definitely say if you have there we go. I have like a brightness feature on. If you have Kingdom Rush Rifting Time, the base game, I would definitely recommend getting this box to hold everything, because then you can just pick up the box and go play. Everything's sorted out kind of nice. You don't have to dig around through 3 different boxes. Even before, when I had the 3 boxes, and I still had to sit there. It was kind of a pain to dig through everything. Plus, the tower trays are so much nicer.